portfolio. Let's talk about a huge mistake I made with the portfolio, selling off Ford covered calls. Made a contract yesterday, and today Ford rebounded quite nicely. Unfortunately, because of that, I missed out on about $6,000 or so potential profit by selling off yesterday and not today. So a huge mistake. I want to talk about that, how I can do that trade better in the future. Take a looking at the portfolio, a very strong day overall. 3.04% in the green, 13,643. Past 1 week of trading up a nice 5.09%, 22,390. A lot of that having to do with Ford Motor Company. Take a look at all of the current options in the portfolio. You can see Ford contracts up on top. Ford 1235 call, 9 sells that I rolled last week. And then the contracts I made yesterday, Ford 1185 call sells 286. I did roll 24 of those contracts. If you take a look at a little bit lower on the screen, Ford $12 call for 4.6 next week, 24 sells. But made a huge mistake with this particular stock. If you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the trade I entered into yesterday. The 1185 call sell 331, made that on March 28th. $2,170 was credited to the account. You can see here I sold off entered quantity 310, 7 cents per share, $7 per contract. That all equates to $2,170 credited to the account. I also did roll a few of those contracts forward here, partial sells, entered 310 quantity, but out of those 310, 15 were filled here in the middle of the screen. And for this one, 9 shares were filled, as you can see in the middle of the screen. So 24 shares were rolled forward. If you take a look at the price of the contracts, today, very strong performance. You can see up on top, up 250% because of this very strong inflection point here. So I sold off here essentially at 7 cents per share. If I would have waited today, I could have sold off in the 20-cent range. Currently now trading at 28 cents per share. So that equates to, in the middle of the screen, you can see a total return, negative $6,000. That could have been credited to the account. So an extra $6,000 on top of the $2,000. So about a $10,000 or so trade potentially, kind of depending on what happens at the end of the week. But unfortunately, a very huge mistake, a very big mistake, I should say, I made in the portfolio yesterday. Typically, when I do these contracts, I only sell off a portion of the shares and kind of wait and see what the market does. It was early in the week, was going to roll those forward, so I wasn't sure if I was going to have time in later part of the week to make the trade, but unfortunately, that's going to cost the portfolio quite a bit of money. Again, about $6,000 or so potential profit by selling it off prematurely. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the market in the later part of the week. Again, on Friday, inflation numbers do come out. I think that's going to have a huge impact on the market. I think some of the tensions in the banking industry is easing a bit. But I think it's going to be a huge week later in the week, depending on what happens with the inflation numbers. That's really going to start driving future interest rate hikes by the Fed, which is going to be very important for the overall portfolio, especially my portfolio, given most of my portfolio is in Ford, is in manufacturing. It's going to have a huge impact moving forward here with the overall economy. But just wanted to quickly do an update on the portfolio. Again, a very nice day of trading today, up 3.04%. And that huge mistake I made with selling off covered calls with Ford. But you can see the power of covered calls. If we do take a look at Ford stock, so overall, it does look like it's been trending down quite a bit over the past few weeks. Year, you can see it's down 29.39%. But for the portfolio, if you take a look at the history, it's been very strong because of dividends and covered calls. So if you take a look at that 2170 up on top, scrolling down further, you can see a nice $3,136 trade on March 17th. So just in March, $5,000 or so. Another couple trades there. A 968 Ford roll, $1,144 call sell. Then the very strong income in the beginning of March, $3,465 and $15,015. So actually, if you add all that up, $3,400, $15,000, $1,100, $968, $3,136, and up on top here, $2,170. You can see the very strong performance overall in the income that Ford is generating for the portfolio. Yes, over the past 1 year of trading, it is down quite a bit. And my portfolio, you can see here, is only up 6.46%, $23,283. But just the past month of dividend income and options income is almost more than the $23,283. It is more than that. just because of the very strong performance in the option income. So that's why I have Ford in the portfolio. Not necessarily because it's going to trend up long term with the price of Ford, but it has a very strong dividend and it's very easy to do covered calls. I can also do some covered puts with this, cash secured puts with Ford. I do like that stock moving forward, so if I do get into a trade, more than happy to hold it for the longer term because of the nice dividend income that you receive with Ford Motor Company. So I know a few people have asked me why I have so much Ford in the portfolio. That is why. Very strong dividend and very strong income with options. And then if I do have to hold that for the longer term, I think longer term it's a high quality blue chip stock, yes. In the near term, over the next few years, if the economy does trend down, that stock is also going to follow suit. But I think over the longer term, it's going to be a very strong performance in the portfolio because of the options income and because of the dividend it does receive, even if there's not a lot of price movement in the overall stock price. You still make quite a bit of money with covered calls and dividends. So that's why I have that in the portfolio, because of those two reasons. So again, just wanted to quickly do an update on the portfolio, talk about that Ford covered call. We'll have to see what happens at the later part of the week. I'll have to probably roll that forward. I hope Ford doesn't tick up too quickly here, so I can do some nice trades for next week. But not to make the video too long, I'll kind of end it here. Again, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, if you guys enjoy the video series, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Next video, we'll see you then.